Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Anything Blows. My name's Andrew Yika, and today I am proud to be joined by professional lightweight boxer Sonny Boy Hardy, one only professional lightweight boxer, but a fellow West Ham fan. Sonny, how you doing, my brother?
Not bad, man. How we doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Back of a win on Saturday, 2-0. We could have made it at least 5-0, but we move on.
Listen, a win's a win. We'll take it.
Yeah, 3 points. So the reason I've got you on today is you are fighting on October the 14th at the famous York Hall Arena on the All of the Lights show on TM14 Promotions. How are you feeling ahead of this fight, and how's camp been going?
I'm feeling brilliant. I'm sitting comfortable with the fight weight already. I thought the previous camp went well. This camp's going 10 times better. I thought I was fit last camp. We're even fitter this camp. Everything's going perfect.
And just for the fans that don't know, what gym do you train at? Who do you train with? And who's your head coach?
So I train at the Matchroom Elite gym, and I still train at the gym in Chowden here. Uh, my head coach is Dave Hardy, my dad, but I'm managed by Kevin Mitchell.
Love to hear it. And obviously, we'll get onto that last fight, but you said this camp is 10 times better. What have you done different to the professional debut camp?
So we've made some tweaks and adjustments. Watching back on the debut, we done well in the debut. The debut went well. We got a little bit excited and rushed it a lot, but you're going to see a lot of the adjustments come October 14th. But as well as that, the sparring, the intensity's increased, the sprints have increased, everything's taken that next level up.
I love to hear it. And how does it feel training with these elite level guys?
Yeah, there's no better learning environment. Like I'm doing rounds upon rounds every single week with two-time world champion Joe Cordina. I'm mixing it up. I'm still getting rounds with the amateur boxers as well. Freddie Pull and Connor Mitchell, two top-tier amateur boxers. They're going to get you switched on all the time. It's brilliant.
Just before we move on to your last fight, who was in your corner for your last fight and who will be in the corner for this fight?
So we had my coach, Dave Hardy, my manager, Kevin Mitchell, and the cutsman, Eddie Masso. And we're going for the exact same corner team.
I love it. And how does that team better you? Do you like sticking with the same team? And how do they get the best out of you?
At the end of the day, if something's not broken, don't fix it. The team's good. The team's there. Our box well. We got what we come to do. So why change it?
I love to hear it. And just before I go on to your last fight, where did that nickname Sonny Boy Hardy come from?
I've always just been called Sonny Boy. Everyone calls me Sonny Boy Hardy. There's not much to it, to be fair.
And I love to hear it. So let's go back. The Summer Showdown, July the 15th, and something that took, I wouldn't say many people by surprise, but maybe a few naysayers or media outlets or new people saying you were chief support on that night. You were co-main event. How did it feel being co-main event, and how many tickets did you sell on that night?
It was unbelievable. I think we'd done just under 250 tickets. So the venue erupted. It was fairly busy in the venue anyway, but as soon as I walked out, you could hear every single voice in the room. It was unbelievable. But being chief support was incredible for a debut as well. It's more or less unheard of, especially in these small hall shows. It was lovely. It's hard to explain.
And talk about York Hall. You're going to fight there again October 14th, but July the 15th, did you have any nerves? Were you anxious? How did you feel going into fighting? So I'm going to break it down into two. How did it feel fighting at the famous York Hall Arena? And how did it feel making your professional debut?
Fighting in York Hall it's every boxer's dream, especially every local-ish boxer. York Hall's a iconic venue. If you want to box in York Hall, if you can box in York Hall, you've succeeded in some way. The nerves got to me in the change rooms a little bit. On the build up to the fight, there was no real nerves or anxiousness. But I was sitting in the change room. Kevin was putting my wraps on, and I thought, yeah, this is real. I'm here now. This is the next chapter of my journey. And the nerves got there a little bit. But then I stood up on the platform. They were there. I walked out. They started playing my music. Everybody cheered, and then I was in my zone. I soaked it all in. I perform under pressure. Pressure builds diamonds. You know what I mean? And I'm going to glisten. It's one of them.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes, one of my favorite fighters, Dustin Diamond Poirier, pressure does make diamonds. So when I talk about that there, how did it feel walking out last? Like, do you arrive early to York Hall, or when do you arrive? And does it get to your mind waiting so long to get out there?
I think I arrived when the second fight started, and
Mm.
we walked around. We said hello to everybody who was there to come support, or as many people as we could. It was hard because there were so many people there. Even to this day, I didn't get to see everybody who come to support. It was a bit gutting, really, but when you've got such a big crowd there, it's hard to go around and say thank you to everybody. So if anybody there's watching this interview now, thank you for the support last time round, and thank you for the continued support. And that was brilliant. I loved it.
I love to hear it. And what was your walkout song on the last one? And can we get a teaser for this next one?
Right, the walkout song was due to be Trouble by Elvis Presley for this previous one, but I messed up the ring walk. I didn't realise I was playing a fight clip behind me, and I'm standing facing the ring waiting to be instructed in the ring. And I heard this different music playing. I thought, oh no, what's going on? So I've just started my ring walk, and I've turned around once I got in the ring, and I've gone, no, I've realised that they've played this clip first. They was going to play my music afterwards. So my initial fight music didn't go to plan. They didn't get to play it. That's my fault. But we've not confirmed the fight music just yet, but we've got some options, and you'll find out.
Oh, love to hear it. Keep it a surprise. One thing I want to ask you, and this could be a little bit of a cheeky question: why should the boxing fans tune into the All of the Lights show on October the 14th instead of Tommy Fury and KSI?
It's boxing. There's boxing and there's influencer boxing. At the end of the day, these are lads who have boxed all through grassroots. They've had their amateur pedigree. They've worked their whole life. They've done years. It's okay having a platform. You can watch KSI Tommy Fury if you want. It might be entertaining. There's going to be wild swings going in, but it's just not real boxing, is it? Tommy Fury, give him his due. He's a true professional boxer. But KSI, as much of a light person that he is to a lot of people and a lot of the younger generation, it's not the same sport. It's not the same sport. Or whereas you can come to a small hall show like York Hall, where you've got 3 title fights on in the same night, and then you've got up and coming prospects like myself, Louis O'Doherty, Marley Mason. So many big fights now. A lot of these fights are going to be true 50-50s.
Yeah, 100%. And well, Marley isn't a West Ham fan, but he said if he would have supported a football team, it would be West Ham. So 3 fellow West Ham fans, and that's what's so special. So why is it so special being from the East End, being from Essex, and bringing over the West Ham support?
So I only started getting into football over the past 4 or 5 years. A lot of my pals used to get me into it. I tried playing football when I was younger and I was useless. I think I got to the ball after 2 years and I fell over it. But a lot of my family's from the East End, from Canning Town. So I'm in Essex. I was born and raised in Essex. So I've never experienced that East London life. But all of my family that do support football, they're all West Ham fans, all of them. So it was only right that I followed on the tradition. So I go to all of the West Ham games. I've fallen in love with the sport and I've fallen in love with the team.
I love to hear it. So going back to June the 7th, I believe it was, West Ham United played Fiorentina in Prague. Talk about that special night, and how did you feel when we won the UEFA Europa Conference League?
It was unbelievable. The atmosphere was incredible. I was at the O2. They were doing a live display there at the O2. I was there with friends. Some of my friends were crying. It was that big of a deal for them. But I was incredible. I was really gutted, in fact, that I was too busy. I think I was training. I couldn't make the not the march. What's it called?
The
Where they
semi?
went through. Yeah, the ceremony. Yeah, I couldn't make it. But yeah, what a night! What a memory.
Yeah, a one to be remembered faithfully. Do you think we go on to in the UEFA Europa League this year?
That's the ambition. It's going to be tough. It's a big ask. We're not the biggest club in the world, but we're proving people wrong time and time again, and that's what we love to see. We're starting to build in that consistency. I've looked. We're playing what we usually call our second team or our Plan B team, which is usually when we're reserving our better players. But you look now, we've not got a bad lineup, no matter who we play.
And where do you think we finish in the league this year?
I'd like to say top 6.
I love it.
I'd like to say top six.
Yeah, and who doesn't want European football for a fourth season in a row? Just before I go back onto you, who did you have winning that fight, KSI or Tommy Fury?
Um, I'd have to say Tommy Fury.
Mm. So a question I usually start off the interview is, where did the desire come from for Sonny Boy Hardy to become a professional boxer? Was it a family thing? Was it something that was brought to you? Where did boxing come from for you and to become a professional boxer?
I started boxing when I was about 8 years old. There was no real meaning behind it or reason for why I started. Everybody in my family gave it a go, whether they liked it or not, just to see if they liked it. I done it. I got hit in the face and I loved it. The no says it all. But ever since my first session as an amateur boxer, all I ever said was, I want to turn pro. I want to turn pro. And it come last year, and I damaged my wrist at the start of last year, and I was out for about 9-10 months. I had my wrist in a cast. I come back to it about 3 or 4 times, and every first session back, I'd hit a pad or I'd hit a bag, light or hard, and my wrist would go again. I thought, this is me done. And then I boxed in the national championships in the amateurs as a senior, just before I turned professional. And my hand was still in a cast. I cut the cast off myself. I went, nah, let's give it a go. We'll chance it. I lost 6 kilos in just over a week. Went on, won 5 fights in 5 weeks, 3 of them being by stoppage within the distance. I thought, yeah, this is all fit into place. My wrist was miraculously healed. I thought, yeah, it's time for the pro game. So I won my fight during the weight. Then we turned pro, and now we're here. We're here. Dreams come true. Now we're just building on that dream.
I love to hear it. You mentioned like that. What was your amateur record and what were your amateur achievements?
I had 64 fights as an amateur. I won, I believe it was 47, 48. It was a fairly decent record. It's I never had an incredible achievement list in amateur boxing, but I always had that amateur resume and pedigree. I fought everybody, over down to Commonwealth champion for one of the Welsh twins, Garen Croft, to Patrice Malguzzi. All of the top lads. I was only there for the half fights. I'm not there for the padded record. I got many national semi-finals, many national finals, losing to all of the best lads, all of the winners. I never lost to a runner-up. So we always went for that sort of route. And my first national title was in the seniors. I always hit the post on the lead up. And I said, no, this is fine. Everything leading up to the senior ABAs is my apprenticeship. And now here we are. We won the Monkstown Box Cup in Ireland, in Dublin. We've won a few box cups. Now we're winning national titles, and now we're pro.
I love to hear it. And do you think this has benefited you because you'll have 2 different fighters in the sport, not necessarily going off the fighters particularly, but 2 different types of professionals. You'll have the Usyks or Lomachenko's who have hundreds of fights, and you'll have guys like Anthony Yarde who has a 16 or 12 amateur fights. Do you believe it's more down to the person than the record, or do you think you need a few fights to get in? Everyone to themselves, but what do you think was the best way? And do you think this has benefited you going into the pros?
Isn't it? It's down to the person essentially. Some people are naturally gifted; they can afford to go straight into the pros. But people who have gone into the pros with four amateur fights, it's usually because they've started a little bit late. But every single bit of experience you could take throughout the amateurs is so essential for the pros. I have people messaging me on Instagram, "Oh, I've just started amateur boxing. I'm looking to turn pro next year," things like that. Don't none of that. Enjoy yourself. Don't rush into things. Learn the basics, learn the fundamentals, and progress on that. I'm still learning. I ain't perfect. I was still learning in the amateurs, and I'm still learning again in the pros for sure.
I love to hear it. So another question I wanted to ask you is, who is your biggest motivation and inspiration in life? Whether it be an idol, whether it be a family member, whether it be yourself, who's your biggest inspiration in life when times get dark, when you feel like you want to quit? Who keeps you going?
I haven't got an individual piece of inspiration, but the people around me and the people who support me, they inspire me. They're my inspiration. They're the people who encourage me to do what I do, and the people who make me want to do what I want to do. So yeah, I've got people who I admire and I appreciate in the boxing world. For instance, as you said, Vasily Lomachenko, you got in UA, you got these top class technicians, but they're not my inspiration. My family's my inspiration. My girlfriend's my inspiration. People like that.
I love to hear it. And asking you there, who gets more nervous in your family? Is it your girlfriend? Is it your father? Is it your mother? Who gets most nervous when you fight?
Definitely my mum. Definitely my mum. We had it in the amateurs. In the amateurs, we got to the stage where she couldn't shout out anymore. We started when I was a kid. We used to do these skills bouts. She used to shout the most absurd things. She used to tell me to take my gloves off. She used to tell me to get out of the rings, just pure nerves. Now she stands there with a camera and records. But now we're in a her cheers are a little bit more masked. You still hear her for sure over everyone else, but she's loud, but she gets the most nervous. My dad, on the other hand, I don't know if he gets nervous. He's hard to tell. He's hard to tell. If he did get nervous, he wouldn't let me know. He wouldn't show it. And it's the same with my girlfriend.
Love to hear it. And that is a great story from being nervous to recording. That's actually kind of cool. Talk a little bit about what you're wearing right now, the Sonny Hardy merch.
Absolutely. So we started off, we tried for a few different logos as an amateur. I made my own logos, and I went over to Dre at BoxFit. I said, Dre, do me a favour. I said, sort me a logo out. He went, yeah, sure. And he created this, and it's the perfect logo, really. The SH, Sonny Hardy sitting on the shield, because we go out on the shield. That's how we go. But yeah, we got to rep it. Team Hardy.
Love to hear it. And hopefully the whole of York Hall will be wearing your merchandise. So I want to talk to you a little bit about this. Just before we move on to the October 14th fight, how was that debut fight against Gudrun Singh? And would you call that the perfect debut?
It was a great debut. It can never be a perfect debut, but I'm happy with it. It was a brilliant performance. It was a shout-out points win. It would have been nice to get the stoppage, but maybe I looked for it a little bit too much. I found myself falling in on the occasion, but it was a great learning fight. Gurjant Singh was very, very clever in regards to his defence. He knew how to survive the rounds. He got caught with some brilliant shots, and he laughed them off, and he started his little dances, and he sold it. He done the right thing. He was brilliant. Yeah, I was over the moon with my debut, and I can't wait to rock on for October 14th.
Love to hear it. And how do you find fighting these journeymen? And who are you fighting in your next fight? Is it another journeyman?
Yeah, so we're going for Jules Phillips. He's had one fight back, but he's been out for a couple of years. He's nicked a couple of good wins. He beat a lad who was 8 and unbeaten at the time. He's beaten 2 lads. And listen, these boxing wouldn't be boxing without the journeyman. These are the building blocks of the game. They go so underlooked. People, where you're fighting a journeyman, they think, oh, it's a waste of time. It's not. These journeymen are good. These journeymen are really. They know how to look after themselves. There's a reason why you see journeymen with 80 fights and they've only been stopped once or twice. It's their job. They're only journeymen because some of them struggle selling tickets.
Yeah.
But at the end of the they're there for us to learn. There's no point rushing in for these big fights. The amateurs and the pros are 2 completely different games. Yeah, you don't play these pros. So you've got to get in there against these journeymen. You've got to learn, and they're teaching you. They're teaching you whilst you're fighting. They're half fights.
Love to hear it. So, talking on October the 14th, do you know the running order or not yet?
No, I'm not entirely sure of the running order yet. I can imagine it will be the title fights will be obviously at the end. I feel like the fight before the title fights is most likely to be Marley Mason versus Jeff Ofori, because that's a very
big fight.
A big fight. Yeah, that's another big 50-50 fight. But other than that, I'm not entirely sure of the running order now.
And is that going to play into your mind, being on earlier, being on later, or does it not matter to you?
Nah, it doesn't matter to me. I'm there to put on a show for the people.
And how many tickets do you expect to sell, or have you already sold for this upcoming fight?
We've done quite well with the tickets. We're looking to push 200 tickets for this fight. That's the ambition. We've got to the last 2 weeks, and the tickets are slowly starting to run out now. But it tends to be the last 2 weeks where people start jumping on for the tickets and things like that. But regardless of how we sell, every piece of support is, whether it's in person or whether it's on social media or whether they're saying good luck to you in the street, support, and I appreciate it massively.
I love to hear it. So talk a little bit about that. Your career, where do you see your career in 5 years' time, and what are you looking to do in boxing? And is it to become a world champion?
every boxer's dream is to become a world champion. Every boxer's dream. Mine's the exact same. I'm there to win titles. So I'm gonna trust in my manager and trust in my trainer and let them decide the right path that there is for me, whether it's a Southern area route or whether we're going to go straight for the big titles. Any title is a big title, to be fair. But in 5 years' time, we're going to have some belts around our waist. I'm telling you that.
I'd love to hear it. So talk a little bit about that. I don't only mention 5 years' time, obviously one step at a time, but coming into the pro scene, are you looking to do what most debutants or most newly professionals do when they get out 5 times in a year or 4 or 5 times a year? What are you looking to do by the end of this year? So I'm going to break it down like this. Can we expect to see you out at least one more time before the end of the year? And if not, how many times do you expect to be out in 2024?
Yeah, we're looking to get out again after this fight in 12 days' time. We're looking to get out hopefully late November, early mid-December. And that'll do us for this year. Then we can have a couple of weeks off, enjoy Christmas. But yeah, absolutely. The more frequent we can be with fighting, the better. So we're aiming for 4 or 5, maybe even 6 fights at a push next year. So it's all about building them fights up, building that record up, and then it will start slowing down a little bit. But yeah, at the minute, consistency is key.
Love to hear it. So you're a newly professional 1-0. Talk a little bit about that. So what would you say is your highest of highs and lowest of lows in boxing and highest of highs and lowest of lows in life? Whether it be winning a title, whether it be injuries, what's your highest of highs in boxing and then in life?
The highest of highs, regardless of whether it's a title fight or whether it's a standard fight, getting your hand raised, there's no feeling that raises that endorphin in your body. Quite like it. That's the highest of highs. Obviously, that national title is always best. And these titles that we're going to win soon, they're the best feelings. Lowest of lows was definitely the injuries. I found myself, I was close to quitting last year. I decided to sign up to university. I went and started studying physiotherapy. And I thought, this is me done. My wrist wasn't getting better. And I thought, I'll give it one last try, cut it off. And yeah, my life's changed again now. I've had to drop out of uni. We're training 2-3 times a day now. Again, as we said, consistency is key. You can't play the sport half-heartedly. Yeah, at the minute, there's no lows and there isn't going to be any lows.
Love to hear it. So talk a little bit about that, the lightweight division, not only in the UK, but in the world is stacked. So first of all, let's go on the lightweight division in the UK, a few notable names such as Campbell Hatton, and then we go on to the world, which is just stacked.
There's a lot of fights that I want. I'm not in any position to be calling people out or anything like that yet, but I'm up there already. Not at that world level. I'm nowhere near that level yet. But speaking domestically, I'm up there. I've got a lot of learning to do, but there's a long list of names that we're coming to beat.
I love to hear it. And another thing I wanted to ask you, who do you look up to in boxing and who did you look up to growing up? Was it the Floyd Mayweathers? Was it the Hattons? Or is it the Crawfords, the Spencers? Who do you look up
to? Coming up as an amateur, if we're speaking a long time ago, we was watching boxers. We was watching your typical Canelo Alvarez, Floyd Mayweather. But for a long time, my main inspiration in boxing was Vasily Lomachenko. You can see that previous 2 fight kits have all been blue and yellow, representing the Ukrainian colours, same as what Lomachenko would do. And still to this day, I idolise his technical ability. But I look up to boxers like that. Inoue, another incredible fighter. There's a long list of boxers. I've not got no individual boxers that I look up to.
I love to hear it. And I want to talk a little bit about this. You mentioned Saul Canelo Alvarez, the king of boxing. He returned, 2 nights ago now. Well, it would have been last night in the UK, but it would have been Saturday for the worldwide fans. What do you think about his performance against Jamal Charlo?
It was just a beatdown. I watched it on repeat. I kind of knew how the fight was going to go. In all fairness, so I didn't get up early and watch it when it was live. So I've watched it back, and Charlo started off with that bit of ambition, but as the rounds got on, rather than being in there when he was in there to survive, there was no 2 ways about how that fight was going to go. There was only ever going to be one winner in that fight.
I love to hear it. And Sonny, going back onto you, tell the fans why you are unique and what makes you unique inside the boxing ring.
I'm an entertainer. I do what I've got to do, and I do what I need to do to win. But if I can do something that's going to impress the crowd, I'm going to do it. You see them clips from my last fight, dropping my hands, moving around. That got views. That got views. But in regards to being a unique boxer, I'm adaptable. I haven't got one style. I'm not going to sit there and stand in front of you. I'm not going to sit there and I'm going to dance around the ring. I'm going to give you 4 different styles inside of one fight, and you're not going to be able to handle it.
I love it. And again, what makes Sonny Hardy unique as a person? Take boxing away, put boxing aside. I know it's so hard to say that with fighters because it is their life. But what makes you unique as an individual? And just tell us about yourself.
I don't know really. As a person outside of boxing, I'm nobody special. I'm just your typical kid. I'm just your 20-year-old kid from Wickford. I'm here. I'm living the life. I'm living my best life. I'm no better or worse off than anyone else.
I love to hear it. So we mentioned taking boxing aside. What are your favorite hobbies? What do you like to do outside of boxing?
There's nothing outside of boxing. Boxing takes over your life. We're training 2-3 times a day, and even on my rest days, we're at the shows. I'm an amateur coach for Cheltenham Amateur Boxing Club, so we're down here on my rest days. I'm down here. I'm helping out with the youngsters. I'm helping out with the senior boxers. Sometimes it's nice to sit back and watch a bit of boxing rather than being in the ring yourself. It's nice. You can appreciate the up and coming fighters. We have a little we have a couple of young boxers, a couple of seniors coming through, which are going to shock a lot of people. It's nice to see, but there's nothing really outside of boxing. There's no time for it.
Yeah, no, 100% understood. And the majority of fighters I speak to say there isn't, if you're an MMA fighter or if you're a boxer, there isn't life outside of boxing. Another thing I want to ask you, you mentioned that there. We were ringside September 2nd for the York Hall show, Big City Dreams. Do you ever feel anxious or nervous, like you want to be in there yourself, or do you just prefer it sitting back and relaxing?
I feel relatively relaxed, but there's certain fights that come on, and they're the fights where it's an out-and-out war, or a boxer's put on an absolute spectacular performance. It doesn't get me nervous, but it gives me a bit of butterflies. I get excited. It makes me. How do I say it? It makes me look forward to a lot more. It makes me look forward to my future a lot more, because me knowing where I will be in a few years' time, me knowing my capabilities and what I can show to people and what I can show to myself, my knuckles get itchy. I want to fast forward, but it's a slow tracking sport.
100%. Where is your dream location to sell out, and who's your dream opponent? Obviously, one step at a time, and you don't be calling out names because you want to be humble, you want to be respectful. But if you could have an ideal fight, so say you could bring someone out of retirement, say you could fight a current fighter, a celebrity, an MMA fighter, whatever they may be, where's your dream location to fight? Would it be the London Stadium, and who would you want to fight?
Yeah, London Stadium, being a West Ham fan, that would be incredible. Sitting there with all the irons and all the hammers there, all of the West Ham supporters, that would be unbelievable. Ideal opponent, I don't know. That's a hard one. You caught me off with that one. I'm on the spot. I won't be able to give you one specific name. I fight anybody.
I love to hear it, and it is a Sonny Boy Hardy show. So one thing I wanted to ask you, we see Terence Crawford walk out with Eminem, Go X Go. If there's one singer / songwriter / rapper you could walk out for your world title fight, who are you picking?
I tell you what, for a world title fight, we're going for big names. So we've got Eminem, people like that. Yeah, 100%. They're the music that you want. But there's one up and coming artist. He's quite underground at the minute. Not too many people know about him, but Songa. He's a London artist. He's younger than me, but this kid's gonna blow up. This kid's an incredible artist. Keep your eye out for him. Domestic level, I'd like to see him walk me out to a fight. That would be brilliant. But if we're talking for a world title fight, it's got to be somebody like Eminem.
I love to hear it, and hopefully he does do it. Maybe you can get him to do it for your first title fight.
Absolutely.
One thing I wanted to ask you, and it's a bit of a unique aspect and a different aspect. What is one piece of advice you would have given to your younger self? Say a 10, 11-year-old Sonny Boy Hardy start in secondary school. What's one piece of advice you'd have given your younger self to change, not alter life today, but you would have told yourself to do differently?
Trying to think for that one. Just enjoy the process a little bit more. As a youngster, I put a little bit too much pressure on myself. When you're in school and things, you feel like you got to live up to some sort of standard for your friends and for your crowd, and that put a lot of stress on my shoulders as a kid. A lot of unnecessary stress. So just go with the flow. I wish I enjoyed it a little bit more. I treated boxing a little bit too much of a chore as I did a lifestyle back then. I loved the sport, but I made it hard for myself a little bit.
I love to hear it. And what is your one message to kids, whether it be boxing, whether it be MMA, but kids coming into combat sports and the youth going into the amateur scene and newly professionals?
It's the exact same. Enjoy the process. There's no rush at all. There's people 20 years old. Is it too late to get into boxing? No, it's not. Doesn't matter what level you box at. Boxing's such a good sport to learn. People say it's all about discipline. It's about discipline, but it's your best sort of fitness. I do personal training as well. So I've got a lot of people who I train, a lot of clients that I train, and I train them. They thought they'd never be a boxer. I've got people who just come down for general fitness. Now I'm training people to become amateur boxers. I'm going to slowly edge them onto the amateur team, and I can see how they've changed as a person and how they developed as a character. But again, trust the process and enjoy the process. Take it one step at a time. If somebody throws 10 tennis balls at you at once, you're not gonna catch all of them. Throw them one at a time. Put them in the basket. Yeah, learn each new bit of technique, each individual style. Put it in your toolbox. Leave it for later. Enjoy it and learn it the right way.
One thing I wanted to ask you, a unique thing. Sonny Boy Hardy, what is the one thing you can't live without in this world? So put family aside, because we obviously can't live without family, but what is that one tangible object or daily object that you can't go without daily, that whether it be a PG tips in the morning, whether it be your mobile phone, what is it that you can't go without daily?
I'm not going to say boxing. I'm not going to say boxing because that's cliche. Got to be a nice warm cup of coffee to wake up to.
Oh, and what's your favorite type of coffee?
I like a black Americano. Keep it strong.
Oh, love it. Penultimate question, just before I let you go. Linking onto the last two questions, what is your one motivational message to the world to block out the outside noise, block out the haters, block out the negativity, and follow and pursue their dreams?
Absolutely. Don't focus on anyone around you. Don't focus on being better than anybody else than yourself. You're the only person that needs improvement. If you track everything, write everything down. If one day something's going wrong, write it down. Why has it gone wrong? If you can improve it the next day, then you've succeeded.
I love to hear it, Sonny. Last question before I let you go. Thank you so much for joining the channel and doing this great interview. Can't wait to see you live October the 14th and get another, I didn't get one the first time, get a post-fight interview, which you got to wait for the good things in life, and I can't wait for it. And we've got this into fruition. So what is your message to the fans that are supporting you from home, supporting all over the world, the East End fans, the Essex fans, and the people that will be in the arena on October the 14th at York Court, and what can they expect from you?
Yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone watching and everybody for their continued support. It really does mean the world. It's overwhelming. I wasn't expecting this sort of support when I first started my pro journey, and it's only growing. Every message, every like, every ticket, every word, and every person that commits to at least saying something nice or wishing me positivity is really, really great. I'm really grateful for it. I really appreciate it. And I want to give a quick shout out to my two sponsors, Sight King, Safety Workwear, and Format Scaffolding Limited. Without you guys, this would have been a big struggle. You've helped me out a lot. Thank you for that. And what can you expect? We've made some tweaks, and it's not going to go 4 rounds. It's not going 4 rounds. This is our last 4 rounder, by the way, to everyone watching. We're up in this after. We're taking 6s. We're going for the big games.
I'd love to hear it. And in the near future and in quick succession, and in quick succession, going for those 6 rounders, 8 rounders, and title fights. Ladies and gentlemen, Sonny Boy Hardy.
Subscribe to Anything Blows.